In lesson 3, we're going to ask our data some questions and interrogate it and see what's going on in there. So here we have the Chrome HMM data basically from before. Same thing that we looked at in lesson 1. And I'm going to open up R and take a look at our script. Lesson 3, interrogating your data. Just to be sure, we'll set the working directory. And then let's read in our data. This is really similar to what we did in lesson 1. And we'll draw the plot like we did last time. Oops, just did it twice by accident. And there we go. So let's take a closer look at our data. So the first thing we can do is we can use this dim function, which stands for dimensions. And we use that to take a look at how big our data is. So it has 571,339 rows and 9 columns. We can also get a summary of each of these columns using the summary function. So this is telling us basically counts for each of the chromosomes, how many rows have chromosome 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. For the start and stop columns, these are numerical, so it's going to give us some basic statistics like median, mean, minimum, first and third quartiles, and the maximum. Type is another categorical variable like the chromosome numbers were, and so these are also going to give us counts for how many times these different categories of features appear. If we want to see all of it, like for the chromosomes, if we want all the chromosomes, we can break this data set down by columns. So if you do my data, and then the $ means that you want to select a certain column, then you put Chrome, so you get the my data column named Chrome, and that's what this looks like if we just run that part. So if you highlight part of this and run that on its own, it would be like if you had just typed that in. So we see that there's a lot of chromosome 1s. If we get a summary of all of that, we can see all these different counts, and now we can see it for every chromosome. Same thing goes for the types. We can see how many rows have each of these categories as their type. For start and stop, we get the same numerical answers that we did before. Just some basic statistics. Another thing we might want to do is to do some math on these columns. So we can actually make a new column really easily. So this makes a new column called size, and it assigns to it my data column stop minus my data column start. So if we do that, we've now created a new column. So if we do head on this, we can see there's a new column over here called size that now has the stop minus the start. So like this one is 600, which you can pretty easily see by doing some mental math here that that's correct. So now we actually have the size, so we can plot that too, or whatever we want to do with it. So you can create new columns really easily like that. And we can also get basic statistics on that. Like we can take the summary of that new column size and see that the mean size is almost 5 kb. So that's awesome. If you want some of these summary statistics and not just printing out all of them, like if you want to do calculations with it, for instance, you might want to take just the mean, or in this case the standard deviation isn't part of the summary statistics, but you can get it on its own by SD. So that's standard deviation. We can also get the median, the max, and the min. So all that works really well. And now let's take a look at this plot. This is what we do to make that plot again. And I want to just explore what are some of the things that we might want to change about this plot and change about the data before we even make the plot, just to create a better plot and get a better sense of what kind of data we're dealing with. So one of the issues with this is that the x-axis has all these chromosome labels, And they all have the CHR in them, so you can't really read it because they're all overlapping and there's too many of them. And if we zoom in on that, that problem is partly solved, but they're still really small and really hard to see, so that's kind of bad. And if you look closely at the chromosomes, you can see that it starts out as chromosome 1, then 10, 11, 12, so they're not in order. They're alphabetically ordered, but they're not in the order that you would want to submit for your next Nature paper or something, so we probably want to fix that. So that's two issues, the CHR prefixes and also the ordering of the chromosomes. Another thing is that there are so many different types here that it's hard to get a sense for which types there are more of on each chromosome, for instance. So we might want to limit it to just some of the types or rename the types if we're not interested in their Chrome HMM IDs, but we just want to see promoters versus enhancers, and that's all we want to show. Then we could do that. So those are a few things that we might want to fix. And we're going to look at all of that in the next video. So until next time.